Good morning, dear students. I am Dr. Kiran Deshwal, Assistant Professor English. In this video lecture, I will teach you the poem entitled The World is Too Much with Us, composed by Romantic poet William Wordsworth. Before beginning the poem, let me give you a brief information about the poem. The world is too much with us is a sonnet. Students, as I told you, sonnet is a short lyric poem of 14 lines. There are two types of sonnets, Italian sonnet or Petrarchan sonnet, which were inaugurated or introduced in literature by Italian poet Petrarch, and Shakespearean sonnet. In first year, you have read Petrarch Shakespearean sonnets, in which in a Shakespearean sonnet there are three quatrain and one concluding couplet. The structure of Petrarchan sonnet is slightly different, though there are 14 lines, but the division comes after the octave part. So these kind of sonnets are divided into two parts, octave part and sestet part. First 8 lines are known as octave part and the last 6 lines are called sestet part. So, in this poem, William Wordsworth criticizes the world of the first industrial revolution for being absorbed in materialism and distancing itself from nature. As we know that Wordsworth was a great nature poet, he loves nature, and it is unbearable for him that people are distancing themselves from nature, they are neglecting nature. So, to capture the attention of people towards nature, he wrote this poem. This poem was composed in circa in 1802. The poem was first published in Poems in two volumes. So note down, this poem was published in his collection of poems entitled Poems in two volumes, which was published in 1807. So you have to keep in mind two things. This poem was composed in 1802 and this is a Petrarchan sonnet and it was published in the anthology entitled Poems. Like most Italian sonnets, as I told you, it's a poem of 14 lines and it is an Italian sonnet. It is written in iambic pentameter. So let us discuss the theme of this sonnet. In the early 19th century, Wordsworth wrote several sonnets blasting what he perceived as the decadent material cynicism of the time. Materialism, he he didn't like materialism. People were becoming more and more materialistic in those days. So, to preach people and to develop in their hearts love for nature, he wrote this sonnet. So, the world is too much with us is one of those works. It reflects his view that humanity must get in touch with nature. So, this is his try so that people can get in touch with nature so that they can progress spiritually. The rhyme scheme of the poem is first 8 lines will be rhymed as A B B A, A, B, B, A. And the last six lines C, D, C, D, and C, D. This Italian or Petrarchan sonnet uses the last six lines, which is called sestet part of the sonnet, to answer the first eight lines octave. So what happens in Petrarchan sonnet, in the starting eight lines, the poet describes the problem. In the last six lines, he gives us the solution. So the last six lines of the sonnet can be taken as an answer to the first eight lines. So the first eight lines, that is the octave part, are the problems, and the next six lines, that is the sestet part, are the solution. So the poet describes the problem in the eight lines, and then he gives the solution in the remaining six lines. So let us begin the sonnet. Let me read the sonnet for you people so that you can understand its rhyme scheme and its meter. The World is Too Much With Us by William Wordsworth. The world is too much with us, late and soon, getting and spending. We lay waste our powers, little we see in nature that is ours. We have given our hearts away, a sordid boon. This sea that bears her bosom to the moon, the winds that will be howling at all hours, and are up gathered now like sleeping flowers. For this, for everything, we are out of tone. It moves us not. Great God, I would rather be a pagan suckled in a creed, outworn. So might I, standing on this pleasant lea, have glimpses that would make me less forlorn, have sight of Proteus rising from the sea, or hear old Triton blow his wreathed horn. So, first of all, let us take the first four lines. The world is too much with us. The title, the very title of the sonnet, Wordsworth says that we are too much absorbed in worldly things, we are too much absorbed in materialism, we are becoming more and more materialistic. Materialism has covered our minds late and soon, till late in the night and from early in the morning. We are just getting materials and spending them. In this process, we lay waste our powers. We are just wasting our powers in getting more and more money and spending it. And in this process, we have just forget the nature. In this process, we neglect the nature. Little we see in nature that is ours. We can't see our profit, our benefit, our life, which is inherent in nature. So Wordsworth says that we have given our hearts away. That's, that is, we have sold our hearts. We don't have heart. It doesn't touch us. Natural things doesn't touch us. So it's a sordid boon. Here we have oxymoron. A boon is always prosperous, but this boon is sordid because it will destroy our lives. That's what the poet thinks. So see the rhyme scheme: soon, powers, hours, boon. A, B, B, A. Again, the next four lines: this sea that bears her bosom to the moon. In this line, the poet is describing the beauty of the sea. He says that this vast sea bears her bosom to the moon. The sea is open to the moon. The moon reflects in the water of the sea, and the winds that will be howling at all hours, winds which are violent at the hours of the day, are silent during night time and are up gathered now. In the night, there is just silence like sleeping flowers. Wind is like sleeping flowers. So here we have a simile. The poet compares the winds, the howling winds, with sleeping flowers. Okay, he compares them to sleeping flowers. So the poet regrets, the poet is repenting on seeing that for this natural beauty and for everything, nature is very beautiful, but for that, for every beautiful thing, we are out of tone. We don't communicate with nature. We don't find ourselves in touch with nature. For this and for everything, we are out of tone. It moves us not. We don't, it doesn't stirs our feelings. So, Wordsworth addresses God and says that great God. He repents that he is a Christian because people are becoming more and more materialistic, and he says that I would rather be a pagan. He wants to become a pagan, a believer in pagan religion, worships nature. So pagans suckled in a creed outworn. Pagan religion is not updated. It is an ancient religion. Creed outworn means it is an ancient religion. He wants to become a pagan so that he can visualize the glimpses of nature by standing on pleasant pasture. He wants to stand on a pleasant pasture and wants to have glimpses that would make him less forlorn so that he cannot feel alone. So he wants to have the sights of Proteus. Proteus is the sea god who rises from the sea, and the poet wants to hear old Triton. Triton is also a sea god who blows his wreathed horn. So we have two biblical references here, the god Proteus and Triton, and we have a simile like sleeping flowers, and we have oxymoron, a sordid boon. So see the rhyme scheme of the next four lines: moon, hours, flowers, stone, A B B A, B won, C D, Lee forlorn, C D, C horn, C D. So students, I hope you have understood it. Thanks for watching the video.